What's good, internet? Jake here, dumb as ever. And Transformers is my favorite toy franchise. It's given me a great appreciation for the concept of transforming toys, which are like little puzzles that give you two toys in one. Thankfully, Hasbro doesn't own the concept of transforming toys, so we've got a whole world of interesting toys that can convert. And a lot of these toys come from South Korea. In fact, Korea has so many popular transforming toy brands that Hasbro really doesn't stock that much in that area, or at least that's what I've heard. So Transformers isn't even the most popular transforming toy line in Korea. We've talked about several Korean toy lines in previous Transformers that are not Transformers videos. We've discussed Tobot, Metal Cardbot, Turning Mechard, and more, all of which you can watch in my playlist for the series. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about 3 more Korean toy lines, one of which recently got an American adaptation, which is really interesting. So sit back and relax. And if talking about transforming toys from other countries is your thing, please consider liking and subscribing. It ain't extra. Before we get really stuck into it, I want to shout out KR Brickbot, who is a Korean toy reviewer that reviews many of these Korea-exclusive toys in English, and he's very informative about these properties. I just wanted to give him a shout out because he's been my go-to guy for questions about this stuff for so long. XGarion is a live-action tokusatsu show, very much in the vein of Super Sentai or Power Rangers. It's about a team of superheroes who have to stop the Black Legion from taking over the world. So it's up to White Tiger, Green Turtle, Yellow Phoenix, and Blue Dragon to stop them, along with their powerful mecha that is also named XGarion. It's very basic stuff as far as these types of shows go. Thankfully, some of the episodes received fan subs, though a large majority of the show hasn't. From what I watched, I found it pretty fun. The costumes are okay. I think White Tiger's mask looks weird with the big furry cheeks. Yellow Phoenix is the only one with a skirt because girl, but it looks really cool and dynamic. She has the best costume because of it. And I think the guys' costumes would have looked better with skirts too. There's nothing unmanly about a battle skirt. The fighting choreography in this show can be really fun, and you can tell the suit actors are having a good time. I think the main issue I had with the show itself was a really bad sense of humor. There was an episode where this dude just kept farting for like 2 minutes straight. The main gimmick toy of this show are the Haxels, which are small clear balls with images inside them. These balls can be spun while the image stays still. All of the weapons and even the mecha use Haxels as part of play. They're not crazy innovative, but I don't know, I just think they're neat. As for the other toys, we have both roleplay weapons and mecha toys, which is very nice and very Super Sentai. Starting with roleplay toys, we have the Garyon Changer, which is what the team uses to transform, as well as activating powers from the Haxels. When the Garyons transform, they kind of do a little dance, similar to how the Kyoryugers transform, which I think is really fun, and probably encourages the kids watching to learn the dance. The Garyon Changer itself is really appealing to me. I love the use of colors, it's very toyetic, which is something I always like about these shows. You simply put the Haxel into the changer and spin it, which will cause the changer to make a noise. The toy can seemingly tell which Haxel you're using, but I actually have no idea how. They don't seem to have any special pins or anything. Let me know in the comments if you happen to know how these work. The other roleplay items are weapons. White Tiger has the Valkyrie Revolver, which is a nice chunky blaster modeled after a 6-shooter. You can even open one and load 4 Haxels into it. That's cool as hell. Green Turtle uses the Saurus shield, which as a toy doesn't really look like much, but in the show he can summon a green Captain America style shield from it. The toy is much smaller than the Valkyrie Revolver. It has stickers indicating little control panels, but this is probably the weakest weapon of the bunch, mainly because the actual weapon part, the shield, isn't included. Blue Dragon uses the Jakiri sword, which looks pretty cool. Kind of your basic roleplay sword toy though, and as usual it's made for kids, so it's more of a dagger. Finally, we have Yellow Phoenix, who uses the Igiri whistle as a weapon. The idea of a whistle being weaponized is funny, and it has little wings, so she usually just launches it and it flies around damaging monsters. All 4 of these weapons can combine to form the Auto Blaster. The Valkyrie revolver is the base, while the Saurus shield becomes the scope, and the XGari sword becomes an extended barrel. The XGari whistle also attaches to the top, but I don't understand the function it adds to the blaster. Still, I think the Auto Blaster looks really cool all put together. Modern Super Sentai doesn't seem to do the combining weapon thing much anymore, so it's fun to see here. We also have a few mecha toys. XGarion is our first mecha. It's made up of only 2 components, the turtle and the phoenix. This toy is kind of weird because it has some conflicting ideas. The phoenix is just a phoenix. It doesn't do anything besides transform into the top half of XGarion, while the turtle both has a turtle mode and it can transform into a chunky fire truck. I think that's fun. I'm just confused on why the phoenix doesn't transform. In the show it changes from a plane to the phoenix, which by the way looks crazy on screen, invokes a certain imagery to me, but the toy itself doesn't do that, which feels a little bit inconsistent. The turtle and phoenix both have pieces you can put the haxels into, and you can actually use them like weapons, which is cool. The phoenix becomes the robot torso, while the turtle transforms into the legs. It's strange to me that XGarion only uses 2 of the hero's animals. He's pretty cool regardless. I like the softer, more rounded look of this mecha. There are more mecha to talk about though. XGarion is made up of 4 animals, as well as this little robot guy. I don't know his name, but he transforms into the body of XGarion, while Red Tiger, Blue Dragon, Black Lion, and Black Dragon make up the limbs. At some point in the show, White Tiger becomes Red Tiger, so both he and Blue Dragon have robot animals, but the whole team's robots never combine. And there are some random ones like Black Lion and Black Dragon thrown in too. Red Tiger and Black Lion can become arms for XGarion, creating XGarion, but the Blue Dragon robot is still left out. It's pretty strange, and I'm sure they explain it in the show, but again, I don't know. Overall, XGarion is pretty neat. I think the roleplay weapons are the better toys, which is different from Super Sentai where I usually prefer the mecha. I wish the show was fully subbed. There's not a big fan subbing community for Korean shows, which I think is a shame because there is some really cool stuff out there. Next up, we have a brand new property from Choirock, the company that created Turning Mechard and Hello Carbot. This new show and toy line is called Phoenix Man, and it's about a boy that can summon the power of the phoenix to become a superhero. Like I said, this show is brand freaking new, with only a few episodes out at the time of recording. I watched the first 2 episodes with English translated subtitles, and it was just okay. The models are so-so, but the animation itself is really nice and stylish. And I kinda just dig Phoenix Man's vibe. He reminds me of Pepsi Man for some reason. I can't really place why though. He just has a Pepsi Man aura to him. I like that he's blue and red. You'd expect a guy called Phoenix Man to be mostly red or orange, but nope, he's like Spider-Man coded for some reason. And that yellow headband is the chef's kiss of this design. Phoenix Man has the ability to point at anything and turn it into a weapon. For example, he points at a motorcycle to turn it into armor. He also pointed at some ants and turned them massive to help him fight. It's kind of a fun ability and seems very versatile. I haven't seen the show Gridman, but I've heard Phoenix Man is extremely similar, so that was probably the inspiration for this character. But let's talk toys. The toy line for Phoenix Man is quite small since it just started, but there are some interesting things to discuss. First, we have the basic Phoenix Man action figure, which stands at around 5-ish inches tall. It has fairly standard articulation, though it's missing some vital stuff like a waist rotation, but the sculpting looks good and very accurate to the show. But the real stars of this line are the mode toys, which feature Phoenix Man with transforming vehicles that become armor. First, we have Stom mode, which comes from a motorcycle. By the way, all the modes are named after fictional heroes the main character likes, so the names are kind of weird. All of these mode sets come with the same Phoenix Man figure, which is a lot more simplistic and chunky looking compared to the dedicated action figure. It has 5mm holes all over his body for combining with the vehicle. Not the prettiest guy, but at least he can ride his motorcycle, which is very nice looking with an included sidecar. This is my favorite kind of motorcycle. I don't know much about motorcycles, so I just called this kind a hog. The motorcycle breaks into several pieces and combines with Phoenix Man, connecting to his arms, legs, and shoulders. He looks kind of neat. I like the concept of a hero that can turn random objects into power armor. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice an issue though. This toy looks nothing like the animation model. Like, it's not just a bit off, it is completely different. And most noticeably, there is no chest or head armor like the model. It's kind of crazy the box just shows the CGI model and not the toy. Like, this is almost false advertising. I think as a toy it looks completely fine and fun. I'm just confused by the massive disconnect between the show and toy. Blaker mode is no better. The same Phoenix Man toy comes with a little bulldozer, which is kind of cute but also super out of scale. It transforms into armor in a very similar way, and it also looks nothing like the show model. This is definitely the weakest of the bunch I've seen, but following the weakest we have the best, Phoenix Man Stay mode, which uses a bunch of stationary items like scissors, tape, a stapler, and an eraser. This is so fun and unique, and this set is extra fun because you get the multiple items, but they can also transform into a vehicle and armor. The vehicle is meant to be this one-wheeled bike. The colors are giving me huge Cubics vibes, which in my mind is the OG South Korean robot show, so I love that. And the combined mode is pretty cool. The scissor arm blades are kinda fire. And the show model at least looks vaguely similar to the toy, though there's still a surprising amount of differences. The final toy is the biggest one, XGarion mode, which includes a battleship, an airplane, and a tiny helicopter. The airplane looks awesome. It looks like a big old commercial plane that could carry hundreds of passengers, while the battleship looks a bit old-timey. But I kinda love it, and I love that it comes with a helipad for the helicopter. Using pieces from the plane and battleship, you can make what I would consider to be a normal mode for Phoenix Man. I'm not sure if this is also XGarion mode as well or what, but I love the giant cannon hands. These pieces can also be combined into a vehicle. This toy has a really interesting design philosophy. It's giving you the same experience as all the other mode toys, but it also has all these extra pieces to form a giant robot. It's curious but really cool. And speaking of the giant robot, the airplane forms the arms, the battleship forms the legs and body, and the helicopter forms the helmet, while Phoenix Man awkwardly folds up to fill in the torso. Just a bit of minor body horror. The overall robot looks awesome. I love the little anchor designs that look like chest tattoos, and the colors are nicely dispersed throughout the body. Due to the way the helmet slots in, it kinda looks like the robot doesn't have a neck. He's kind of giving Ed from 90 Day Fiancé, but I still dig him. And I see what they were doing by making Phoenix Man's chest the chest for the robot, even if it looks a bit awkward. XGarion is certainly the biggest and baddest Phoenix Man toy you can get. I think Phoenix Man is pretty cool. I don't think the cartoon is really for me, but I do love the hero design and concept, so I'll keep an eye on the property for now, and I'll wait to see where Choi Rock takes it. Finally, we have Armorsaurs, which is the most exciting of the bunch for a Westerner like myself, because it got a true blue Power Ranger style American remake, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about the original Korean show first. Armorsaurs is about a team that pilots armored dinosaurs, which reminds me a ton of Dino Riders, a classic 80s toy line that has never really had a remake. I watched 3 episodes of Armorsaurs, and I think it's pretty interesting. In the story, the dinosaurs didn't actually go extinct. They were abducted by aliens and turned into omega powerful weapons of war. Cut to present day, and science has advanced to the point where we're recreating dinosaurs Jurassic Park style. The aliens catch wind of this, and they are invading Earth once again. But this time, D-Armor, a secret school that raises children to pilot dinosaurs, is there to stop them. There are a lot more details to it than that, but it's kind of complicated. And it's a lot of lore and exposition to basically explain, yo, we are piloting dinosaurs. I love the military feel of the show. The pilots have this very practical armor, nothing flashy except for a bit of color. And while there are hero dinosaurs with brightly colored armor, there are also standard military looking dinosaurs, which I think is cool. The first episode was so action-packed, like they just go balls to the wall immediately, having this dude fighting a metal pteranodon with just his fists. The dinosaur action is also great. They do a great job of making it dynamic. I will say the animations look super dated. Apparently they did these animations in a video game engine, so all of the action looks like red versus blue. But honestly, I don't really mind it. And the dinosaurs, armored and robotic, looked good, which is all that really matters to me. The robotic dinosaurs remind me a lot of the Transformers movies. They just have that look, and one of them, the Black Dragon, literally transforms into a robot. So the show is pretty interesting, and it feels a bit more serious than I was expecting, despite the overtly goofy premise of piloting dinosaurs. The coolest part though is when the dinosaurs actually armor up. The armor itself transforms from a land vehicle to an air vehicle and catches up to the dinosaur to wrap around its whole body. It's such a cool looking sequence, man, I could watch this all day. But let's talk toys. The Armorsaurs line is actually pretty simple, with not many toys for it being made. The main line are called DX toys. They feature decently sized dinosaurs as well as the vehicles, which can turn into armor. The way they do this is extremely cool. I was expecting the vehicle to turn into different pieces, but it actually transforms and wraps around the entire dinosaur. It's kind of brilliant. There are 4 dinosaurs: the red T-Rex, the blue Triceratops, the purple Pteranodon, and the yellow Raptor. In the show, there are actually 3 different yellow Raptors, all controlled by a young girl. Her pod acts like a little flying vehicle, so she's away from the danger. There were also more general action figures of the dinosaurs. These don't transform at all, but they do have lights and noises. And they also have stickers to make it look like a pilot is in the pod. In addition to the DX figures, there were also transforming compact figures, which were smaller guys with the same gimmick. It's still a very impressive little trick even at this scale, though these versions look much more awkward. Like the Raptor's armor arms kind of just float there, not attached to the dinosaur's actual arms, and the Triceratops ends up with wheels on its head, which I honestly enjoyed the look of. The only other figures were these chibi non-transforming guys. The eyes in their big-ass heads glow and they can make noises. These remind me of the Jurassic Park Snap Squad toys. I don't know why the Armored Saurus toy line is so limited. I kinda get the impression that the show didn't really do that well, which after watching a few episodes I can see why. It just seems like it would be faster paced and more exciting, but the show seems more focused on telling its story in a more measured way. As an adult, I don't mind that kind of storytelling, but I could see why kids might bounce off it and go for something more exciting. Now let's discuss the American adaptation called Armorsaurs, which is a show that's coming out on Disney+. They have a few episodes uploaded here to YouTube as well. The adaptation wildly changes the story of the Korean show. The aliens stealing dinosaurs aspect is still there, but otherwise the show changes like every aspect. There is a lot more action, a lot more comedy, and a lot of terrible acting. In this version, aliens are invading, aided by a human villain named Switchblade, which is a cool name, but his costume is edgy in a lame way. The mask especially looks kind of dumb. Our pilots in this version are 5 teenagers. The explanation for them being chosen for the Armorsaurs program is because they can talk to birds. No joke, it's called the avian anomaly. It's casually explained that a very small percentage of humans carry this gene. And obviously, since dinosaurs evolved from birds, that means the kids can speak to them and bond. It sounds strange, but this is the exact type of sci-fi weirdness that I actually enjoy. Instead of military suits, the Armorsaurs are given the full-on Power Rangers treatment, with fully masked power suits. What is really impressive is that since the original show used a game engine for the CGI, it seems that the team working on the adaptation was able to go in and alter things really easily. So not only is footage reused, it's repurposed, and brand new sequences were also made, usually featuring the power suits or Switchblade. I can't lie, after watching the first 2 episodes, I hated the show. I hated the acting, the dialogue is cringy and unfunny.
I was flown out here on a helicopter after getting beat up by my dojang.
A dojang? Really? They need to write you better material. Kung Fu.
Oh, it's Taekwondo.
Well, Mr. Kwando, if that really is your name.
And there are truly bizarre sequences like this one, where TJ bonds with the Triceratops after playing basketball with it.
Let's do this! I think we just made a connection.
By the way, I think the guy that plays TJ is so unintentionally funny. He feels like a character Casey Frey would play in a skit.
Cinnamon, cinnamon, off, feminine, off, venom, and hawk, venom, and cinnamon, off, venom, cinnamon, sauce, cinnamon, enema, give him an enema, short enema, melanin, no melanin, all men are friends.
Sorry, I got off track. Like I said, I hated the show, but after watching more out of pure curiosity, it's actually growing on me. The show continues to have all of the issues I described, but I don't know, man, I just got used to it, and every bad moment has just become something I roll my eyes and laugh at. This is the first time I've really understood enjoying Power Rangers, and now I'm curious about maybe watching a season of that. But anyway, let's talk about the Armorsaurs toy line, developed by MGA. This toy line is completely different from the original Korean one, which I think is a bad thing, but we'll discuss that in a second. First, let's just go over everything. These toys are hitting stores and Amazon now, so I was able to get a couple. First, let's talk about the action figures, which are 3 3/4 inch in size. It comes in a very dynamic and shiny package. They definitely want to catch your attention. The figure itself is pretty simple with standard articulation, similar to the Mattel Minecraft human figures from last year. The paint is really nice and metallic, and the sculpt looks accurate to the show. In addition to the figure, you also get a runner with a bunch of extra pieces. The pieces are really hard to get off of the tree. Cutters, or in my case scissors, are going to be required, which I think is bad. For a toy like this, the runner should be more like blockies, where you can easily snap them off the tree. I was really annoyed because when I first opened the toy, I thought the only instructions were these ones on the back of the box, which barely show any of the pieces from the tree being used, but instead of physical instructions, there's a QR code on the back, which I don't know, it might just be me, but it wasn't obvious at all that the QR code would give me instructions. I thought it would just link to an official website or something. And when I used the QR code, it sent me to this YouTube video where they add a whopping 4 pieces. This is June's fully armored look, and it still leaves a ton of different pieces. I wish they had included some ideas on how to use them. I made this combination myself, which I think looks kind of neat, but still, I'd like to see what the actual toy developers made with this armor up system. I'm not super interested in the rest of the figures, but I don't think these are bad by any means, especially not for $10. These are easily the best value of the line. In addition to this figure, there's also 4 other power suits as well as Switchblade. There are also Evolver figures, the only real Transformers that are not Transformers of this line. I bought Ajax the T-Rex. He's a small figure in terms of Transformers with very little articulation. He can only open his mouth and move his arms a tiny bit. The sculpting is fine if a bit simple, but the paint is really nice. Though they could have added eyes to the figure. They're just black voids. The transformation is also very simple, just tucking the head and tail into the hollow body while moving the legs forward, and the pod on top extends forward to become the front of the car. The end product is a futuristic looking vehicle, which doesn't look like much, but man, it rolls fantastically. It has likely faux rubber wheels and they work so well. The vehicle is just so fun to roll around, great job on that front. But the price of $17 seems really high. I think these would be competitive at around $12. Remember, these things are going up against Transformers in the toy aisle. There are also Evolvers for the Raptor and Triceratops. It does look like they all have unique transformations, which is good. The final toys in the American lineup are the Armor Up Dinosaurs, which are large dinosaurs that come with pieces of armor to turn into an Armorsaur. I did not have a chance to get one of these sadly, but to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed by these figures. While the Korean DX toys had a clever transformation gimmick, these figures just have clip-on armor pieces, and the armor pieces don't form a vehicle or anything. So whenever the dinosaurs aren't armored up, you just have a pile of pieces. I think that's pretty lame. But upon watching the show, it seems like this transforming armor aspect has been greatly toned down. Most of the time, the team leaves base with their dinosaurs already in their armor, so maybe this choice for the toys was a result of that, but I don't understand why you would tone down the coolest part of the original show. I also think that the original DX toys maybe seemed a bit more complicated than what MGA is trying to do with this line, which is understandable, but I still feel like the extra pieces should have been used in some way. On a positive note, the dinosaurs have a really cool gimmick. When you move around their tail, it puppeteers their head, which I think is really fun. They also have pods that can fit the pilot figures, which is awesome. Even though I'm disappointed by these dinosaurs, I still kinda want the Triceratops. It looks big and chunky and fun. Overall, Armorsaurs launch feels a bit clunky. I ended up liking the show more than the toy line, which I really wasn't expecting. I hope MGA considers bringing over the DX Armored Saurus toys from Korea. Those toys just seem too cool, and they're very expensive to import from Korea, so American versions would be awesome. If any of these toys happen to interest you, I do have Amazon affiliate links in the description for them. South Korea continues to impress me with new and awesome transforming toys. And if you're an enthusiast like myself, you should probably be paying attention to what's going on over there. Oh, also the Armorsaurs toys came with Roblox codes. I don't really play Roblox, but I did want to see what the codes do. The pilot figure gave me a mask that looks like Velox the Pteranodon, which is kind of neat. But the Evolver Ajax gave me a backpack that is just the entire dinosaur. It is hilariously big and looks awesome. I'll be swagged out the next time I play on the blocks. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you'd like to support me further, I have a YouTube membership and Patreon. For $1 a month, both give you the same thing. Access to my members exclusive podcast, where I talk to content creators about YouTube and toys. In the newest episode, I had a chat with Delta Tryon, one of the first YouTube friends I ever made. And you also get an invite to my super chill Discord server. Alright y'all, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.